here, and like, and the artwork that like in January, it was like a different city. So I'm like happy to be New York.
Okay. All right. If you want to share the streaming link, it is on YouTube. We are live. If you want the link so you can post it really quickly, send me a text message. My phone number is 863-327-7745. 863-327-7745. Send me a text message, I'll send it. Okay. All right, anyone else? What's the title? Oh, look busy and down. So many pieces, so much.
And you know what? You doing it all night. And you doing it for the girl, you are the girl doing it. So that's all that.
Big shout out to Don Smith, nominated for MVP of the Year.
Oh,
yeah!
I'll have a bit.ly link or a QR code ready for you upon your dismissal today.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely vote for Ms. Don Smith.
Oh, no, he's yesterday. I don't know whether or not I want to say it.
Okay, all right. But still, energy to you, sis.
All right, so we are going to have to share one of these mics. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, shucks. Oh, that was my mood.
I'm sorry, I need it so I can make sure I can hear y'all.
Okay.
All right. Vanetta, speaking to the mic, please.
Yellow.
Perfect. Say like two more things. Say your name or something.
Vanetta. V is for values, my Instagram, if you want to follow me.
Perfect.
Janae with Elevated Aura.
Sounds great. All right. Summer.
Summer with an O.
All right. Say it again.
Summer with an O.
Okay. Perfect. All right, Lauren. Kanika.
Yo.
Again.
Yo.
Again.
Yo.
Okay. All right. Got an engineer podcast session. Okay. Y'all live. Good to go. Just I think it's this mic.
Yeah.
Try not to shake it too much because that cord for some reason is like clicking. Yeah.
Good afternoon, ladies. Thank you guys so much for coming. ForTheGirlz is something that was started last year, I believe, and I was the moderator for that as well. So this year, I like the fact that it's so intimate and everybody's getting to know each other and getting from all walks of life. So I'm hoping that we can create a space where we are vulnerable and honest and just leaving it all in God's hands. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So today's panel, or this panel, the first one, is about being booked, busy, and balanced. Now, I'm someone that wears multiple hats. For one, I'm the pretty hustler. You can call me Kay, you can call me Kanika. I wear many hats: media mogul, writer, event coordinator, event curator, publicist, host. I'm getting exhausted just talking about all of the things. And I also am a customer relations coordinator for the United States Postal Service. So I do a lot of things, and a lot of times I lose breath talking about it. So if anybody knows anything about being booked, busy, and balanced, it is me, because I definitely know how to have that balance. I know how to say no, and I know how to set boundaries. You know, my time is precious, and if anything, I feel like I value my time more than I value the time of other people. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So I want everybody to go down the line and express themselves. Tell me who you are. Tell everybody who you are and what you do. We're gonna start with you. Yeah, I like your braids, so we're gonna start with you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Loren Jones. I go by L most of the time because people call me Lauren, and I don't like that. I am a community educator, and I'm also a body worker. So I do massage therapy, but many different forms of it. So I like to call myself a body worker. My work is focused on us, on Black women primarily, working with the nervous system, working with really just regulating ourselves, as you said, right? Through these busy lives that we have, but also through the traumatic residue that we've carried, you know, generationally within our lifetimes, and how we are treated still in this country as we go on. That traumatic residue and these conditions that we're existing within, they directly affect our livelihoods. And so my whole goal is to help us reclaim our lives. And a lot of times that starts with our bodies and our awareness of our bodies and the power, the healing power that exists there. So again, I am Loren Jones, and I can't wait to talk with you guys.
I'm so glad you corrected me on your name, because I didn't say it for that reason. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to embarrass myself. Loren. Okay, got you.
Yes. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Don, for inviting me to this. This is amazing. My name is Summer Blackman. I'm an entertainment lawyer. Yes, Summer with an O. And so I represent all different folks in the music industry, from artists to producers to music managers, indie record labels, music publishers, music supervisors, music, all different types of people in the industry. and in all different genres of the industry as well. So ranging from R&B to pop to classical to just anything pretty much. This is public, so I'm allowed to say this. Do we all know Jason Derulo? So he's one of the firm that I work with. That's one of our clients. And when I started working for that firm, I thought, okay, this is kind of cheesy because I never was a big fan. I really shouldn't be saying this, but I'm listening to his music now and I am a big fan. You know, right? So in addition to being an entertainment attorney, I'm also a legal consultant and mentor for young girls and women who are interested in entering into this field as well. I don't really see many Black women in this area, so my goal is to increase that by educating us at an earlier age so we all are aware that this is an option for us. And I can have my sisters with me, you know, representing all of the different people in the industry. So that's what I do.
Love that. Thank you, Ms. Summer.
Good afternoon. My name is Janae, and I am a life coach. I actually got my certification this year, end of February, early March. So I'm really excited. Thank you. I named it Elevated Aura because I feel like it's really something that I was able to embody. I myself have went through a journey of therapy and healing and felt like I just wanted to reach out to other people. My focus is not just women. It's actually just the Black community in general. I actually have more male clients than female clients, but I think it's so important that males also have the space as well as women, but as women we also help break generational curses. So that's really what I'm about. And Booked and Busy, I'm a mom of 3 and I'm also a property claims manager. So Booked and Busy is something that I definitely had to figure out balance, but I'm excited to be here. Talk a little bit more about that.
Thank you. What's up, everybody? My name is Vanessa Schofield.
I bring you greetings from heaven.
No, but I'm the founder of Funny Honeys. It is a brand that I created to empower through entertainment. And I thought that was my mission when I first started. And I'll just say I've been a hospitality person forever. So I've been a waitress, an usher, a pastor's daughter, and nobody ever viewed that as a real job. But I'm in that making you happy business. I'm in the connecting those dots. I'm in that business, and I do that, yes, through hosting, yes, through branding, yes, through comedy. But I also, my bigger mission now is becoming who I needed when I was younger. We've talked a lot about healing and a lot about that, but there's a lot of us who, you know, or there's a lot of women in general who are coming from a space where they're the first to do anything in their family. And I experience a lot of drawbacks from being in rooms where it's my first time there and it's my generations, like my bloodline's first time there. And that is something that I want to combat and empower women with resources and also entertain them. So that's a little bit about me, but thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. I love the fact that y'all all said what you do, but you also gave like your life mission, your spirit mission, which is very important. You know, when you're coming into certain industries and certain circles, you go in there and you're like, this is what I do, but I also am super passionate about this, and that's what your life mission is, and that's what kind of brings you into these spaces, brings you around these people, is that life mission. You all seem to have pretty much the same goal. It's just uplifting people, especially your younger self or younger individuals, and getting them into a space of like acceptance, basically, right? Okay, that's good. I love that. I love that. That's tea. Okay, so I want to set the tone. When you hear booked and busy, what does that mean for you now versus a few years ago? Anyone can answer.
Okay, so I'll go. But no, so what it means as a comedy person, entertainer, it really did mean booked and busy. And I was like, but there's and I'm not trying to make this a therapy session, but there's a,
It should be.
it is something called rushing nowhere. That's like a trauma thing that happens. And me constantly being on stage every night, I sat down with a woman who was in management, who was like helping me get my career together. She was like, Vanetta, what it is that you really want to do? And I was like, well, if I had it my way, it would be this. And she's like, well, girl, why are you on stage every night? Because you should be building on those skills to go exactly where you want to go. And so now it looks totally different. I'm on stage maybe 2 days out of the week, and I'm focusing on all the other competencies for my bigger picture to balance out who I really want to be in life. So it's totally different than what it was.
That's very important. Sometimes when you're on this path of like discovering yourself and getting into these industries, you end up veering off to something that you're actually truly passionate about. Exactly what I just said, you know, like you have your life mission and then you have the thing that you do. And I think the life mission is way more important than the thing that you do. It kind of brings everything full circle. So that's good that you even found that out for yourself. Not a lot of people get to experience that.
I just wanted to piggyback as to what you said, because I feel like that was me in my whole 20s. Like, I was doing so many different things. I was known for event and wedding planning. I was known for being a doula. I was known for being a management artist. I was known for this. I was this. And I was just getting exhausted. I was just like, but what is it that I truly want to do? And it's really just help people mentally, because people don't understand that if you don't help yourself mentally, everything else kind of just is just a cover-up. It's just a facade, right? And it's like you need to step back, take that second to breathe and look within, and then really grasp what you want to do. And I feel like that I really resonate with what you said, because I feel like I had to do the same thing. And in the past year, I've been able to really conclude in. It's just, I just want to help people break generational cycles and get back to them, forgive themselves, you know, heal that inner child.
As you should.
Yeah, I can agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think even towards the end of what you were saying of like, you know, it's a cover up, right? Hyper productivity and just like being constantly on the go. We're covering up things by doing that. And also, again, as people of color, like oftentimes we're trying to prove that we're not this like lazy archetype, stereotype that they have of us. And so one of my biggest missions with my own self and my own practice, you know, is like unlearning and decolonizing, you know, my day-to-day methods, how I do business, how I see business, you know, who taught us these things and how were they taught to us, if at all. And I learned, like, I want to approach things more in a feminine way. Like, I'm a woman. I don't want to constantly feel burnt out. I don't want to constantly feel like I'm hustling and every conversation I have has to be a business conversation. You know, I started to notice, like, when I did enroll with business coaches who were teaching me those kind of models, you know, the disconnect I would feel with clientele who I'm literally creating extremely intimate space with, right? Like, my hands literally on their bodies. And I started to see that in like my marketing and the way I was approaching this thing. And I was like, nah, we have to change this. Like, this should be a reflection of who I am naturally. And that in itself is enough to market with. That in itself is enough to network with, and especially to hold space for people with. So I would say just unlearning, you know what I mean? That tension between like pushing ourselves beyond our limits and learning, like, when you actually settle into your energy of who you naturally are and work on becoming who you actually are, you will attract, you know, what you're looking for.
I mean, I agree with all of these comments, and I don't want to reiterate everything, but I'll share just a little bit of my story. So the success of what I thought was success in the past, I know it's totally different than what I see for myself now and what I see in the future. So I'm originally from Toronto, and I came to New York in 2020. So as you can imagine, COVID. So for me, that time, success meant surviving, meaning that, okay, I have to pass the bar, I have to pass this test, I have to find a job, I have to be in the industry and meet all these different people, make all these different relationships, and do all of the things to survive. And for me, in the entertainment industry, as I think some of us may know, surviving is like success. Like, if you can, you know, keep in the industry and not have a meltdown, that's successful, right? And I found myself feeling very unfulfilled by that continuous rat race of trying to keep up with all of the things. So I was looking for a job. Thankfully, I found a job very quickly. But then because I knew I had to, you know, pay for a lot of things, this is a very expensive city, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm a lawyer in Canada as well. Let me do a virtual law firm. Let me keep pushing. Let me keep doing something so I can make some money there, make some connections back home, so I can keep that avenue open for myself. It was just way, way too much. Way, way too much. And I found myself being very, very miserable. So along the years, these things happened, XYZ, XYZ, and now I'm at 5 years into being in the city, and success to me now is being very selective. Being able to say, okay, I really like this aura or this energy of this client. This is something that I want to do. I don't need to do this. I'm not trying to survive on this. I'm happy to do this and happy to help this person, and that is success for me. Selecting and having the ability to know, okay, I know what my passion is, I know what my path is, and I'm only going to stick to that, and I'm not going to try to keep up with the Joneses.
That was great. That was great, ladies. You actually answered both questions in one. Which is good. Which is good. Which is good. It kind of segues into the next topic, which is basically hustle culture and wellness. Hustle culture, I feel like Dime and I have had this conversation
A lot.
Yeah.
We in the entertainment industry, we're always on the hustle. We're always on the bustle. It's very tiring. It can be annoying. So we have to kind of make way and make time for our wellness. This is perfect that we have some people that definitely are into wellness up here. Just taking those deep breaths. I kind of miss meditation. I was there with you. I was, but not really. You know what I'm saying? So one of those things where we have to make time to tap deep in within ourselves, or else we're nothing. We're puddle. How can we hustle if we don't take care of ourselves? How do you recognize when productivity crosses into that burnout mode? What are your signals?
For me, my signal was just I would go run, and I'll be still for days. Just be still, because my body was just shut down, you're doing too much, you need to relax. And then it's okay, but how do I get the momentum back? And when I was struggling to get the momentum back, that's how I knew I was doing too much. And that's how I knew I had to just slow it down, figure out the goals, right? The goals that I can actually do, not the goals from 5 years. What is the quarter 4 goals, right? What can I do now? Not so much in the future, because when you start thinking about the future too much, that's where everything comes in, and that's where you really start to do the right way. Oh, I need to make this much at this. Let's start about smaller goals, right? So once I started to tone down my goals and really just focus on where I am in the now, it helped me change how I feel. But when I'm just in the bed for a week on end, that's how I know I'm burnt out.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah. I agree. Once again,
Wellness.
and I would also say you start to get almost a disdain for what you're doing. When you get a booking or a client reaches out and you sucking your teeth and you rolling your eyes oh, I just want us to sleep. And it's you have to take that moment to reflect and be I love what I do. This is my sole mission. What's causing me to, not want to show up in this moment? And we tend to beat ourselves up. We're in this tug of war with ourselves of pushing and hyper productivity and like you said, shut down, and feeling really low and tired. And it's when you're taking that moment, you don't have to push yourself away in that moment and blame yourself or the client, right? But instead you take that moment to assess and be okay, what needs to change? What needs to change about my structure? What needs to change about my routine? How do I create a routine that supports the aliveness of my practice and not the burnout? And another thing I want to say on a nervous system tip is it wasn't until I started my somatic training when I learned that shutdown is an energy conservation practice. When we feel we can't get up, we feel we're so tired, we can't leave the bed, even modes of depression. We hate it because who wants to feel that way, especially when you have things to do. But then you don't realize that's the wisdom of the body. Literally saying we need to slow down and stop, or you're going to burn out. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to injure yourself, right? And so starting to listen to those cues was huge for me, because I'm having headaches and I'm feeling, body aches, and I can't, I'm so exhausted every single day. And how am I showing up as a holistic practitioner, not even embodying my own practice? Eventually you have to sit back and say, you know what? Maybe I need to be in bed all day today. Like, maybe I need to clear the calendar. Maybe I need to put the phone on Do Not Disturb. And in that time, how am I restructuring so that I can return to the thing I love to do most?
Yeah. If we're being really honest, I just pulled up on burnout, and I took a break for about a year or two. I just completely shut it down. I got to rest. Okay, whatever. I had to take a break. I was in jail. No, but okay. It's just for the context of the story. So very brief story. I moved to Atlanta in the pandemic, right? I was over New York. I came to New York. I burnt out, right? Because I was going hard. I mean, like 80, 90 hours a week. And even the Cheetos wouldn't help me. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was crazy. So I moved during the pandemic. Now I had fibroids, had a surgery, and still moved myself to Atlanta in the pandemic. So burnout, just constant. And got to Atlanta, did a festival all by myself. You see Don moving around everything? That was me with comedians, doing that. So I burnt myself out, put myself into this, and it took me a while to realize, I realized in jail that I was there. I was in a space with a lot of women who, no, they weren't burnt out from running a business, but they were burnt out from arguing and going back and forth with their baby daddy. It was Mother's Day when I got arrested, and I was on the phone with my mother. And if we want to be if I got to tell a real story, I had her pills on me. That's why I got charged with felonies. So I wasn't even it wasn't even a crime, but I feel like God put me in that space and in that place to see women that had the same issues that I did, and to see the emotional fallout from never ever having a secure emotional attachment in their life. So the parents, all of our parents, our dads, something was messed up, right? And so I took the ACE study, all of that. I'm a 10 on the ACE scale. That's adverse childhood experiences. So you're more likely to have horrible jobs, not being able to keep them, mental health, all of that, problems, diabetes, everything. The higher you rank on the scale. I'm a 10, probably a 12 if I could, you know what I mean? But just all of that. So anyway, saying all that to say, when I got back, when I got out of jail, I moved back home and I started over. And I started over with the foundation of God. I did grow up in church. I was I preached my first sermon at 9 years old, right? But at the same time, I realized that the people that were on the pulpit, who was my family, were not just imperfect humans, but bad people. And that was a lot for me to come to terms with. So of course I left God and left the church. And so when I just took my family and the side of all that away, and just me and God started a relationship, we just started kicking it. That's when my whole life did a whole 180. And that was 2 years ago. And I moved back to New York a year ago. And one of the panelists I had a client session with, and I paid her I had a strategy session with her, and now we're on the same panel a year later because God first has done that with me. But at the same time, y'all, we're Black women. And any space in this society, when we're going out looking for clients, we're going out getting business, when we're doing anything, we are always ill-equipped with our visions and what we want to do. And I'm show business. So I'm doing shows, I'm doing business. I'm gonna be burnt out. I got multiple networks that are now starting to converge, but I had to get burnt out to get here. So, I think it's cool for us to say that, but we gotta acknowledge that hand that we're dealt and what cards we playing, because them shits is burnt. Yes. We got burnt cards, nigga. Okay, all right. But anyway, so yeah, that's being honest. Sorry.
Oftentimes in every industry, we do get handed cards that are already burnt out, crumbled, folded, stepped on, all the things, and we kind of have to pick ourselves up, put ourselves together, and put it back together so that way we can, continue on. That's a very good, very, very, very good and true statement for sure. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Ms.
I resonate with that so much in terms of how the cards are dealt for us. Yes. How the cards are dealt for us and how much more difficult it is for Black women to succeed. And I think I was experiencing that, and I have my mom and my sister here as well, so they know all of these different stories that I'm sharing. And when I say something, they're like, So a couple of years ago, I was in a totally new job, and I was so excited to start this job because it was something that I really, really wanted. I was working as a lawyer for a music production company. I had no clue what I was doing, but my new boss, she knew I had no idea what I was doing. But because I'm a Black woman, I'm a lawyer, I'm already have all these standards that I'm supposed to be meeting. And I'm going into this job like, okay, I have to present myself as this amazing person who knows how to do all these things, not knowing nothing. So I work remotely, number one. So working from home, the productivity is nonstop. So burnout for me is very, very easy. As I mentioned, I'm from Toronto, so I go home sometimes and I'm working in the house and my mom's like, come, Summer, I need you to help me with something. I'm like, I absolutely can't. I'm working. You see me typing. And this could be all up until 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and I'm still working. And I know, sometimes that is not the right way to do things, but I know also that, look, these people at this job are expecting XYZ from me, so I gotta burn out for these people. They have to see that I'm the candidate that they really wanted to hire so I could present myself in the best way. I ended up leaving that job. It just didn't work out, and that's totally fine, but now I'm in the job where I'm working from home. It's still, a little bit difficult, but the flows of being and the people that I'm working with are way more, adaptable, very, I'm not gonna say loving, because that sounds weird as an employer, way more accepting to me being able to go home. If I say, hey, I can't make it, okay, cool. Hey, I have to take a flight, no problem. Hey, my family's in town, I'm not gonna be available, no problem. So I think speaking up is really something that I have to do more often, Black women may have to do more often, at the expense of others thinking that we are not super women, because we are human.
Powerful thing that you just said, and it ties into our next topic, which is just, I'm telling you, y'all did y'all see the papers? Dom, you showed them the papers? She did. All right, now it turns into the next topic, which is basically how do you guys create systems, habits, and boundaries, which is really important, I think, in every job, is to have boundaries. I say no quite often. And I love it, too. I just be like, no. No, I don't think I'm going to do that. You're like, no. Like, no, hard no. So, yeah, what is your system? What are your systems, your habits to create those boundaries and, set that tone?
I'll go. I remember there was a time where I had a hard time saying no. And then I read this book and it said, your no sets boundaries and your yes is expensive. And that resonated with me so much. It's like every time you say yes, you're giving an energy towards something. You're saying yes, you keep saying yes, you keep saying yes. And it's like the moment you tell somebody no, it'd be an uproar. Right? It'd be an uproar. And I had to realize, like, me saying yes is not actually helping me at all those times. It's actually hurting me. So now mine is like, okay, in my new job now, I'm like, if I say no, it's no. If I say I'm leaving, I'm leaving. Right? And thankfully I'm in a position where I am a manager, I have a team under me. So if I gotta go, I gotta go. But I had to speak up. I had to learn my voice and be able to be confident in my voice in order to show up in that way. Because there was a time I was very quiet. Oh, she'll do it. Now I'm like, no, I ain't doing it. Even with, I'm actually divorced. I had to start saying no to my ex-husband, right? And I show up in a different way when it pertains to him because he was so used to me being a yes man. but that was costing me, right? So once I was able to just speak out and stand firm in how, who I was and what I said, like, I got divorced and it was cool. It was fine. Like, no hard feelings, but I'm stronger because I said no and didn't continue to say yes.
I love that. No, yes. Yes. Empowered. That's an empowering no right there. Empowering no. That's like no sign. Right. Right. No. Right. Anyone else, ladies?
What's crazy is I had to, and I don't think this is on the paper because I saw the paper too. You did. But one of the things I really had to do, because I run my business, right? In my business, I'm trying to find clients. And that has been so hard because I didn't have systems set in place for my business as an entrepreneur. So when I get the client, I gotta do everything for the client. And so, no, right? So what I've done is I've segmented myself and like my competencies and what I do well, and I just work with other firms. And so I split myself in half. I do events with one firm, and I do PR with another firm. And they work with authors, and it's one Black woman. And to see us, and I'm not gonna, go into depth of like our conversations, but we have, our meetings are like, half therapy and half like getting to it because of the stuff that we've gone through. But like, she respects my boundaries because she's had to put up boundaries. And now we're both like in the space of like creating those boundaries and systems for us together. But she said to me, I just want to thank you for talking to the little girl in me when we meet. She says that in our meetings. And so it's a whole thing that needs to happen where we create systems and habits where we exercise our rights, right? And we space that. But I think it's great to have boundaries and doing this with a Black woman, and we're doing this for each other, and I'm like, hey, I need a stipend for this because of this stuff. You don't have to explain what you need, why you need it. You need it. And you're gonna get a company card, and we're gonna make sure it's there, and so it's we are not hiring. No. I love y'all. Okay.
All right, handle over. No, but that's great, especially the part where you were like speaking to the little girl in you, because I do find myself getting into certain situations where I'm like, why am I upset about this? As a grown woman, why are you upset? Calm down. But then I'm like, the little girl is like, no, you should be mad, Kanika. What the heck? Don't let people do this to you. And she's always like protecting me and say, like, especially teenage me. She's like, no, absolutely not. We're not standing for that. But as an adult, sometimes I have to be like, all right, it's okay. Don't worry. We got this. It's okay. We're going to move on from that. Okay. So yeah, it's definitely like finding those different opportunities that speak to different versions of yourself at different times of yourself. Right now I'm in a space where it's kind of speaking to the teenage version of me, where she's like, yeah, we could do this. Yeah. But don't take no shit. Right. Okay. Am I right, Don? Okay. She knows. I've definitely been on that. So, but I'm also like in a space where the grown-up me is kind of like coddling the teenage me and telling her, hey, we can take this for a little bit, just a little while. So I'm glad that you spoke on that. Anyone else? Ladies?
I'm going to actually say a lot of what you just
You
said.
did?
I'm so happy you said it the way you said it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's beautiful.
Oh,
but
thank you.
I was going to say that, yes. Also, another thing I learned through somatics was like, there's a difference between joining and merging, right? Like sometimes when we're working with people, when we're, in our work environments, even within our lives, like our personal relationships, right? We might see people's needs and problem solving, how we're going to fulfill them. A lot of times we join them, you know what I mean? Or at least we merge with them in their stuff, right? And that crosses the line of a boundary, right? Because boundaries are where you end and another begins. Boundaries literally keep us safe and protected. And so it's like us dishonoring that consistently because of those wounds that you were speaking of, right? Because of not knowing our worth and the things that our inner child may have experienced, right? Our boundaries were breached over and over and over again. And they show up in business. You know, if anything, I'm sure we could all agree on this panel, like, business exposes your wounds. Yeah. You know, it's like I think business is the most spiritual experience I've ever had in my life, because oftentimes your clients, even your employers, people are reflecting back, you know, your inner wounds. They're reflecting back your story and even the good parts of yourself, right? And so if we don't learn the difference between merging constantly with other people and maybe just meeting them where they are, right? You can hold space and you can serve people with a distance, a very healthy and also a very loving distance. But that distance and that conscious awareness to have that there is you saying, I honor me first. Yeah. Not being willing to like disintegrate, you know, in your duties, and realizing like your wholeness is incredibly important, not only for, you know, the integrity of the client or the relationship you have within, you know, your working relationship, you know what I mean, but also just for yourself, your wholeness, your ability to show up and be a leader, an example for the people that you're helping. You know, so I think we all just kind of said that in our own way.
No, that was beautiful. You hit it right on the nail. I was just about to say, like, when you were saying, like, you know, in business, a lot of our wounds come up. I say this all the time. I'm like, everybody's like, oh, it's just business. It's not personal. Like, it is very much personal. It's very much personal. I may not need to put too much of my emotions into it, I guess, and kind of take out the emotional aspect, but it's definitely personal. I definitely take it personally, so because I'm doing my business and it's me.
Exactly.
Yes.
Assignment.
Absolutely.
My pastor said your agitation is where your assignment is. So a lot of us were agitated at work or agitated because we didn't see the service or this product and we went out and made it. So don't tell me business is just business, because this is my life's work. And I tell people all the time, my business is personal. Mm-hmm. You know, and I don't take it personal, but my business is very personal.
Right, so if you're going to mess with me, Oh, I love it. We are eating. I don't want to I'm healing. I don't know if it's you.
It's us. It's the collective.
It's so close. I don't know. It's like, I felt it. Maybe I did pay attention to meditation. I don't know. Okay, so I don't want to like kill this moment, but I do need to wrap it up. So I'm going to wrap it up with just like a simple little prompt. If you had to describe your current season in one word, what would it be?
Empowerment.
I know.
Do we get to explain it?
I mean, in 3. I like in 30 seconds or less.
All right, where do y'all go?
She says, "Now I gotta gather." Okay.
I say my word is bloom.
Bloom. Okay, because I thought you said blue, but I was like, rain and blue. No. Reap. Okay.
2 words.
That was your second.
I need 3 words. A 3-word minimum. That's it. Okay, I'm just gonna say not abandoning myself, and that's it.
That's a phrase, but we gonna work with that. We gonna work with what you said.
Made of words.
But we gonna work with what you said because we understood it. See, you actually did everything that you supposed to. We
The
good.
word is awareness.
Awareness.
Amen.
Yes. Look at us helping each other grow. You guys are so amazing. Was this interactive for the audience as well? Okay. Audience, do you guys have questions? Ladies, you have questions, concerns? We have answers. If you have, I was about to say, if you have concerns.
I'm kidding.
If you have concerns, we are
No
open
judge.
to them.
We listen and we don't judge.
Oh, God. No? Okay. I love that. I want everybody. You do? Yes, ma'am.
Experiences. I feel like it just reminds me so much of why conversation is important and why it's important to have things like this, especially for our community. And it just reminds me of storytelling and how in our generations past and to come, like storytelling is something that will always be necessary. So thank you all for sharing your stories. And yeah.
Thank you. You even talk like you meditating.
Yes.
She said, I just want to. I'm like, I could go to sleep now.
Okay. So we know, ladies, that we are going into 2026. What do you guys' new season look like for you? Because 2026, I don't want to prophesy, but it's going to be a huge year. What do you guys feel like? What are you envisioning for 2026 for individually? What do you guys see for 2026? Business wise, spiritual, relational, what do you guys envision for your 2026?
I love that question. I'll start. I'm a talker. I guess as a life coach, sometimes we just talk a lot. But a few weeks ago, I actually stopped going to therapy because I felt like I had got all the tools that I needed from my therapist, right? So that was the end of an era for me. It was just I was in therapy since 2022, and I was like, I'm done. I'm good. I feel great, right? And I actually had a birthday last week, and that was the start of my new era. And I feel like sometimes people think that you have to start in a new year. You start when you're ready to start, right? So for me, it was my 30th is I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever is coming my way with my life coaching practice, going to events like this, having my own events like this, networking, all of the things. So that's what I'm really excited for, is shedding everything that I had to deal with and healing in my 20s and coming up in this new elevated light of who I am and what I'm really here to do is to serve and to be a soul vader. That's why I like to call a soul vader. So I'm excited for that.
Thank you so much.
I would say that I am stepping out of acting small. So,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm in that too.
Yeah. I feel like I have a lot of talents that I sit on and I don't put them out into the world. So now I feel the confidence to put them out into the world, to help others reach whatever goals that they're trying to reach, and to help people, feel empowered to reach whatever goals and be really proud about it and not be small about them.
Thank you.
Mine is a little different. I see sex in my future. Okay. Listen. Okay. Okay. Here's the thing. God is my man currently. God is my man. Okay. And here's. So I see myself getting cracked and in a union. Okay. But I know. Okay. To be honest, I see me success, for real. And I'm at a point, they're laughing. Okay, but I'm at a point where I feel like I can start to put myself out there more or even intermingle. And I have isolated myself for the past few years just to do that. So I have not been in any relationship or anything. I ain't been nothing, you know what I mean? So that's happening next year, okay? Because I am gonna relaunch my agency and I am gonna rebuild and expand the team and on what we are gonna do, we are gonna have that. And yes, I'm motivated to have all of the things.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that for you. I want you to have that.
It's hard to
I'm so glad we're sharing.
But I support you. I think I finally found my word, and I think that my word is resilience, right? And it's true resilience. It's not just pushing ourselves, it's not pushing ourselves to the point of burnout, right? But I think that a lot of times when we're starting a journey, we put it down. Like entrepreneurship, you see a lot of a business start and then they crumble in the next few years because we're not used to that level of push for ourselves, And I think that the resilience, the continuum through the hard times, the continuum when things go quiet, the continuum when you are tired and learning how to pivot what resilience looks like in that moment. Maybe it's nourishment. Maybe it's pausing and fueling to be able to go forward in a different way, And so I think that I'd hope that as a collective, because we got to think about the energies, right, that are truly against us, against our livelihoods, against our histories, against our success, right? The amount of Black women that have been laid off alone this year, and knowing that that is going to continue on into the next year and throughout this term, right? It's just saying to ourselves that ain't no man in control. No human is in control of our well-being, our livelihoods, and our livable futures from this period, right? We are in control, and God is in control, you know, of that experience for us. So reaching deep within and pulling out, you know what I mean, what comes out, kind of like an alchemy, right? Like you're making something of nothing, just like our ancestors always have done, right? None of this is new. So just pulling on those lineages, thinking of your grandmothers, your mamas, you know, and way beyond that to say, how could they move from what they've been through, what they've gone through, what they've been denied, and literally birth you, who you are in all your majesty and all your grace, knowing you'll do the same for the future. We'll do the same for the future.
Love it. Yeah. Look at that. You found a word in your phrase.
And a new phrase.
I love that for you.
You go together.
I love that for you. I love that for you. Thank you, ladies, so much. Shout out your social media really quick so that way we can have that.
E is for value, and my brand is called Funny Honeys. We empower through entertainment every Tuesday at Savannah from 6 to 8 p.m. She didn't ask me to say that, but okay. But you needed to know about the comedy show. Okay.
Nothing wrong with a shameless plug. Go ahead.
My Instagram is Elevated Aura Official. Elevated Aura Official. Yes.
Mine is Shine Lee Ray. That's my personal IG.
My business one is L Jones Embodiment. That's my business name. And my personal one is real L Jones. And you get two different sides of me on both. So
make sure you have both dots. Love that, love that. Oh yeah. Okay, so my social media is I am the pretty hustler. That's it. And hustler is spelled out. Yes, I appreciate it. Yes, because I do that. That's what I do. I be doing that a lot. Wait till you see the face. Hold on, let me get up. When I get up, then you be like, oh my God. Okay. Yes, thank you so much. We'll get ready for the next panel in the next 5 minutes, maybe? Yes? Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you.